I personally, I don't agree with sodomy, but we can't tell, free will. We can't tell people how to live their life. So, if the next pastoral candidate wants to be a homosexual man, then, I don't see what's wrong with it. That's what he do in his private time. I just want him to, bring me a word on Sunday. Guys, now that Biden is technically out and Kamala is probably he's endorsed her, but that doesn't mean she's going to be the nominee. They still have a convention. They have to convene in Chicago, and that is going to be interesting. And so I want to share this article with you guys because what I want to do is I actually want to challenge. I want to challenge individuals who claim the name of Christ and who still identify as Democrat. I need to know, what are you going to do with this? I genuinely want to know, because I've gotten your emails and I've listened to your logical argumentation, and I'm like, you haven't even really thought through your own position, because you've contradicted yourself in this email. You do, and that's the thing. Some of them I can't even respond to because I'm like, we're not even speaking the same language, and so I kind of let the emails just marinate because I'm like, I don't know what you want from me. But this article says Biden's U.S. Department of Health and Human Services is so hell-bent to see as many children and youth as possible be transitioned into the opposite gender that it has finalized an outlandish new foster care rule that practically bans Christians from adopting or being caretakers. Listen to this, you guys. This treacherous federal new rule, announced this past April, states in essence that no person will be eligible to host or adopt a child in foster care unless that individual is on board with supporting transgenderism. Let's let that marinate for a little bit. So I had to pause for dramatic effect. I'm going to read it again. This treacherous federal new rule, announced this past April, states in essence that no person will be eligible to host or adopt a foster child or a child in foster care unless that individual is on board with supporting transgenderism. In other words, they must denounce the word of God, which, as Matthew 19:4 declares, he made them at the beginning, male and female. If this new HHS rule sounds satanic, that is because it is. But if it comes as a surprise, it should not. This is the part for me. For all the Democrat, quote unquote Democrat Christians that have emailed me outraged that I would support conservative values, which I don't even understand how you name the name of Christ and are confused that I'm a conservative. Like, keep saying it out loud. Just repeat it like it's a mantra to yourself, and it's going to hit you eventually. I'll just be like, what? So you want me to be a liberal? Is that it? You want me to side with this wickedness? Anyway, if it comes as a surprise, it should not. Just look at the number of aggressive steps that Rachel Levine has taken as the lead trans HHS official to help spur an increase in the number of children getting transgender surgeries. I would love for my Christians that identify as Democrats to help me understand how you've been okay with the director of Health and Human Services, who is an actual bona fide man, but he's walking around pretending like he's a woman. This is the one that is making these policies to sexualize your children and to convince them that this is perfectly normal. And you got issues with my political platform policy positions? Yeah. Don't say nothing to me. Anyway, it says, for instance, Rachel Levine is so laser focused on increasing the number of children who go under the knife and get their bodies mutilated that, according to the New York Times, Levine has been using federal pressure behind the scenes to change medical guidelines so that there's no age limit for sex change surgeries. This is what's been going on. While you ride with Biden, this is what's happening. But you got issues with me. Moreover, in accordance with seeking to remove age limits, Levine has also been at the forefront in developing strategies to combat a number of red states that would, well, for now, Georgia's still red, that have passed laws that ban child mutilation. I'm sorry. It is unthinkable, untenable for me to wrap my mind around states that allow this to happen. But in California, it's allowed. If your 5-year-old says, mommy, I think I'm a girl, they wholly support your child's right to declare that he feels that he is a girl. And they ain't even got to tell you. The school will support his decision. You're just out in the sidelines, sharing custody of your child with the government. But you want me to ride with Biden. You got me messed up. Levine's primary collaborator in all this is HHS Secretary Javier Bacara, who works in tandem with Levine. Back in July of 2022, Bacara and Levine co-hosted together a so-called roundtable with trans youth, where some of the small children photographed were paraded wearing clothes of the opposite sex and visibly under the age of 10 based on height alone. Bacara revealed that he shares Levine's deep level of commitment to force Americans to adhere to the Biden transgender agenda during his testimony on Capitol Hill in May. So this law was proposed in April, or finalized in April, and during his testimony in May, he confirmed during questioning that he would likely withhold federal funds from any hospital or healthcare facility in America that does not perform transgender surgeries in spite of religious objections. So what is the Seventh-day Adventist going to do out there in Loma Linda with their hospital out there? What are the Seventh-day Adventists going to do? What are the Catholic hospitals going to do? I don't think there are any Baptist or Presbyterian hospitals left in name only, but not in theory. What are those hospitals going to do? If they're like, well, we don't want to perform those surgeries. Oh, okay. So we're going to do what Democrats always do, which is subjugate, bully. They're going to make you do whatever tactic it takes, withholding federal funds from you. Oh, no, you're going to do this. You're going to bow the knee to whatever we say because this is what we do. They've always been the party of the sexual perversion, the subjugation on the basis of ethnicity. They've always been that. I know some of you out here who ain't picked up a book are like, no, the party's changed. No, they did not. Stop propagating that lie. And if you believe that lie to be true, you need to give the names and the year. I need to prove it. Prove it. It didn't happen, but you keep saying it because you heard another ignorant parrot it and say it out loud. That's why you say it. But listen to this. Florida is one state that bans transgender treatment on minors, and its attorney general is suing HHS, that's such a tongue twister, HHS, to undo this rule and successfully got an injunction in federal court that blocks HHS from implementing. Of course, HHS is not working alone. The DOJ is another key player. As has been widely reported, when a Christian Texas surgeon, Dr. Ethan Haim, blew the whistle and leaked evidence that Texas Children's Hospital was violating Texas law that bans sex change procedures on those under the age of 18, the FBI showed up at his home and informed him that he was being indicted by the DOJ. Look at this lawfare. Lawfare is what they do. Oh, you don't want to do what we want you to do? Well, now we got to cut you. Now we have to sick the judicial system on you to demand that you do what we do. They get their FBI involved and the Department of Justice involved, And now we're going to indict you. Next, what's happened to Trump? Look a little bit more, doesn't it look a little bit more? You're like, you know what? This do seem a little, I mean, I don't know. It's the lawfare for me. So now based on Christian conviction, I don't want to do this surgery. So now you're going to indict me and attempt to bankrupt me because now I got to defend myself. So now you're going to tie me up in court. You guys, these are Marxist tactics. This is straight out of the Marxist communist playbook.